We are back, everybody.
And it's not going to get edited out.
Nope. This is it. We are live. We're in the moment.
I don't know how to time that right.
It's okay. I don't think we have to. Life just happens. It just finds a way. Anyway, everybody, hello and welcome back for a brand new episode of Horrifically Horrifying. As you can tell, we are totally on our game after having back and forth schedules the last few weeks. But I am Heather Wixson. I'm joined by Kevin Taft, my co-host. We're finally together again, Kevin.
Woohoo!
I know. Kevin's, it's not just Kevin's normal show attire tonight.
I was going to say, please explain this so I don't look like a douchebag.
No, you are a fashion plate, and you're looking very, very sophisticated tonight, Kevin. Yes. So we decided for this week's episode that we were going to, in honor of the wrap up of the Fear Street trilogy, we were going to be talking about Fear Street 1994, 1978, and then 1666. And then we're going to then go into a discussion about some of our favorite slashers. So that is why Kevin is dressed the way he is.
I'm dressed up as an 80s summer camp counselor.
I don't mean this in an offensive way either, but you look like...
Okay.
No, you look like you're from American Horror Story 1984.
Oh, Jesus.
I feel like somebody in Ryan Murphy's camp dressed you tonight. But they've got great costuming, so that's actually a compliment.
That's fine.
So I know how people have mixed feelings on Ryan Murphy, which is interesting because last year he did a supernatural slasher, and here we are talking about supernatural slashers, which we don't get a lot of.
That's true. That's true.
Yep. So I know I think you talked about, I think I talked about first Fear Street.
Yep. I talked about second one
and
with a little bit of first one, and now we're here for the third. Yeah.
Yeah. So overall opinion of the trilogy.
So we'll just do that. I can hear my voice. Is that recording? I can hear.
I don't think so. I just hear you normal.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I really I enjoyed all three of them to varying degrees. I honestly still think I like 1994 the best, but maybe it's just because it was new and fresh. But I like different aspects about all of them. And I did like how 1666 really tied a lot of stuff together that not necessarily was I expecting some of the things to be tied up like it was tied up. So I thought that was really clever. So I really enjoyed it. And it was interesting because 1666 felt like not the same type of movie for a while. I'm like, oh, this is more of like a drama, and this is really interesting. And then, once that wraps up and they jump to 1994 again, I was like, oh, good, we're going to wrap this up. And they did a really nice job of wrapping it.
Yeah, I have to say, I was really surprised. I mean, I knew going into it, I was going to enjoy it. For as much as I enjoy Lee Janiak's work prior to this on the Scream series, and also she did Honeymoon, I was like, this is a no-brainer for me. But it's interesting because I actually think I ended up liking 1666 the most.
Did you?
I ultimately, if I was forced to choose what, a ranking, because everybody this weekend was ranking him, and it was like lawlessness on social media. It was kind of great. I think that to me is sort of the earmark of hey, there's some really interesting things going on here. Because okay, we get it. People are torn between Scream 1 and Scream 2, and Scream 3 is garbage. I'm just saying that, kids. I don't actually believe it, but it was just kind of refreshing to see some real discussions over what clicked about certain parts of this trilogy more than others. Mm-hmm. I loved all of them. In fact, I went last Friday night or Thursday night going into Friday. Yes, because it was that's when it turned midnight. I around 8:30, 9 o'clock. I started Fear Street 1994, and I kind of rolled it into when 1666 actually hit Netflix. So I just rewatched the entire trilogy, and it I don't think I can really choose which one I think is the best. I think they're all great for different reasons, and they were all trying to do the goals that each of them had for this whole story. I think they hit the nail. I think they really nailed it with what they were trying to do. But 1666 for me was really the most unsettling of the three, just because of the realism for the flashback scenes.
Yeah.
there was some pretty disturbing stuff in there, and I didn't think they were going to go as hard as they did. I mean, but that was like the whole series.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The one thing, the only one minor complaint that just kind of, it's not even a complaint, just made me chuckle. And I can't remember the third one, but in the first two, there was always one plot point or one moment that just isn't correct, I think. So for the first one, so after, I mean, spoiler if anybody hasn't watched it yet, so the drowning thing. So when she's gonna bring her back, why are you just not trying to get the water out of her lungs? You're giving her an EpiPen. EpiPens aren't gonna work. You need to get the water out.
I mean, honestly, I'm just going to say she's a teenager and she's panicked. And it's 1994. And what does every single one of us in 1994 think the best way to bring somebody back? Jam a needle into their chest. Thank you, Quentin Tarantino. You know? I mean, literally everybody was talking about that moment from Pulp Fiction. So, like, because that was sort of their initial plan, like, maybe she just didn't immediately think, oh, CPR. Like, you know, she's a 16-year-old kid and, you know, she just had to drown her girlfriend. To stop a bunch of like, supernatural psychotics coming after them.
You know, she's 29.
Isn't that ridiculous?
And then like her IMDb picture, you're like, who's that?
Yeah,
because that ain't her. She does a good job of playing a teen.
I think they got a time machine and just went back. You know,
so weird, crazy.
It was, yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know this girl. Look, who is she? And I was looking her up while I was watching it. But in the second one, when they finally the hands, but yet it was still connected together. I was like, did they get it from like, why are the bones still connected in the hand?
Well, there was like some sort of like flap underneath it.
Because they would clink around.
Yeah, but I think there was still like, it was kind of like, you know, like on some corpses, there's sort of like that weird flap, like that sort of sits over the skin.
Maybe.
Like, because I saw it in the second one, like there's kind of something under there. I don't disagree with you. Like if it was just bones laying there, they're gonna go flying.
Right.
But I mean, I've never tried to do something to hand bones to see like what happens in like 40 or 50 or 500 years.
Let's find out.
But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. But I kind of remember if you go back and look at the shot when they put it on the table in 78, that there was something under it.
I thought that was something they put under, but you could be right.
Yeah, sure. I just don't know. But I get what you're saying, and I'm not dispelling it.
And minor like dumb quibbles. There was one in 1666 too, and I was thinking like it's funny that each one had this bizarre like that wouldn't happen ever, but I can't remember what it was in the last.
Was it the Irish accents? It was like high school drama class Irish accents. It was adorable. It didn't bother me.
But you know why? I think too, because we saw them in 1994, so it felt like they were playing a role in a show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got it. No, it wasn't that. But I can't. Someday I'll remember. But I remember coming to my friend like, "There's another one," but it didn't take my enjoyment away at all.
Yeah, I literally don't give a shit about that kind of stuff. Like everybody was kind of nitpicking the first one. Like somebody was like, "Oh, either it's Calibri or." Yeah, Calibri wasn't a font in 1994.
Oh, right. Oh, whatever.
And I was like, okay, fine. You know, I honestly, like, I kind of like those anachronisms. Like, I remember there was one in, like, The Age of Innocence where somebody was wearing, like, an actual, like, digital watch in a scene. And I'm just like, if something like that is enough to make you dislike something, like, you didn't probably really like it to begin with.
I didn't like Age of Innocence.
I should
have noticed the damn watch.
Because I remember like my teacher pointing that out or something. But like, funny. So they were pointing out like that some of the songs in 94 were actually songs from 95 and 96. And I'm like, I don't care. Because first of all, I think all the songs that More Human Than Human was actually 95. And he was singing that. So, but like most of the songs that they were like listening to, those are 93, 94. And then some of the songs that they like, Firestarter is 96, but that was like during an action scene. I'm like, I don't really care that much. Right. Like, just put on 90s music. I'm happy. I don't give a shit. You know, like who cares? So I don't know. I just think for me, like, I know I know that this series wasn't intended for people our age. that it was intended for the younger audiences. And it's like, I don't feel like it's hyperbolic because I've seen the interactions online. But this feels like a real moment in a lot of different ways, because one, this is like the first time I can ever remember in any given year where we've had a female horror director release 3 movies in 1 year. Right. I know they're part of a trilogy and it was all planned, but there's still 3 full-length movies, all different, handled, different stories. Yes, similar casts, but still, like, this is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of kids, like, I think this series is going to turn into like their version of Scream.
No, I thought about that too. I felt like this was going to be, because even with me, Scream doesn't resonate. I mean, like, I liked Scream when it came out. I enjoyed it. I mean, I've seen them all. I mean, I do like them, but it doesn't, like, people are like, let's go see it again. I'm like, I don't need to see it again, but I'll watch Halloween every time it's playing. So I feel like though, like, a Nightmare on Elm Street, that's what was our thing. And then there's the people with Scream. Maybe not your thing. You might have been more Scream, but.
I think what's nice about me, because I'm a few years younger than you, I'm right in that sweet spot in the middle where Halloween was really becoming something when I was little. And then it was like Nightmare came out when I was younger. The Friday the 13th were going when I was younger. And then I was right at like high school, college age when Scream hit. So I really feel like I hit like the perfect time to be born as a horror fan, because I get to experience all of it. And then I get to experience this rebirth. And it also gives me a chance to because the one thing that horror is it's always been cyclical. And every 30 years, there's something. And like, I think we're really coming to this like sort of resurgence that we started to see in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it's really cool. But yeah, I just because I would tweet one tweet about Fear Street, and it's like, I can't get 2 people to retweet a review I write. But I had like literally 500 retweets on a Fear Street retweet, or on a Fear Street tweet. Wow, say that 5 times fast.
Fear Street tweet.
Yes.
Fear Street tweet.
Yes. So, for me, like, it just feels like it's this really great thing that like everybody's being able to enjoy to a certain degree from all these different ages. Like, I was talking to Phil Noble from Fangoria, and because we were at they had a pop-up video store event a couple weeks ago here in Los Angeles, and I ran into him there, and he's a few years older than I am as well. And he was like, he's like, I wasn't even going to give it a chance because I knew this wasn't made for me. And he's like, and I can't believe how great they are. Like, that's pretty awesome. So it definitely feels like something big, and it's pretty cool. And, for as much as people are talking about him now, I'm like, I kind of think Netflix would be stupid to not do anything more with this.
Yeah.
And they're gonna, and I really hope they do, and I hope they give it all to Lee and just let her run it like she's Willy Wonka in her chocolate factory, like just let her go nuts. But for me, like, it makes me excited because maybe this is how Netflix will see the value in like good horror,
right?
So there's some decent stuff that they'll put on their platform, but it's a lot of hit or miss. So it makes me really excited. It makes me excited for the kids that are coming up now that are going to, get hooked on the genre because of these movies, and it's just nice to be older and be able to sort of appreciate it differently than I would as a kid too. So it's kind of rad.
Yeah. I like them. Good. All right. Well, those were good. All right. So we wanted to.
We totally jumped our discussion. We went straight into Fear Street.
I know. We could always just do the other one at the end.
Okay. Yes.
Since it doesn't really fit the theme until the end,
yes.
But we are talking about something brand new at the very end today.
Indeed.
So don't go anywhere. So with that, my dear Heather, so let's start talking about slashers, because slashers are a good genre. We did talk today about, because I was like, I know Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a slasher, but it's not really a slasher because it's more of a. And then Nightmare on Elm Street is a little supernatural, so I'm like, paranormal slasher, does that count? And Heather said yes, but we are going to try to, move in and out of the usual. I have some usual suspects, I'll admit.
Doing that movement with that shirt is just
with my little pride. Hang on, I should do poppers.
Do you understand if you were in a movie right now, I'd be like, oh, this guy's too much. I'd be like, nope, I'm out.
Ryan
He's
Murphy,
the
cast
Calibri.
me.
He's the Calibri.
I'm the Calibri of
Horrifically
Horrifically
camp
Horrifying.
counselors. Oh no. Yeah, so I think for me, like the thing with slashers, like one, I mean, there's never a wrong time to watch a slasher, but I tend to watch a lot of them during the summer. Because like I have these phases, because we were talking, about like the different franchises. We watch Friday the 13th year round, but I watch them a lot during the summer because it just feels very summery. But we actually watch them a lot on Friday nights because we're weirdos, and we watch them while we play Scrabble. And then like Nightmare, I watch pretty much throughout the whole year. Halloween's, I usually try to stick to the fall for it because it makes it feel more special.
Yep.
And it was interesting because you talked about Texas Chainsaw, and for me, like Texas Chainsaw is definitely like one of those summer horror movies because you just feel the sweat of that movie on you as you're watching it. Because I just for the podcast that I do, we did a summer slasher marathon, and mine was like really messed up because I was like, I'm gonna put like Wolf Creek and Texas Chainsaw and The Hills Have Eyes in there, and I was like, oh no, I need to have some fun for this one. But yeah, there's like, for me, there's certain slashers that hit certain moods.
Yeah,
and I think for me, like summer is slasher season. Like it just screams it because a lot of these take place in the woods.
What is it? It screams it.
It screams it. Yes.
Did you plan that? Did you plan that?
Yes, I did. So, but yeah,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah. So it's one of those, like when I was thinking about like the movies we could talk about, I was like, yeah, I don't really want to do Halloween's because like that to me is like October. Like that's like, ooh, it's time to, bring out the pumpkin candle. Even though I don't really like pumpkin, but I'll smell a candle. I don't eat it. I'm weird. I'm the one like white person in the world who doesn't actually like the taste of pumpkin.
Oh, I don't like, no, me neither.
I eat like one piece of pie.
No. Ugh.
There's only one pie that I'll eat, and it's from Port. Do you ever do Portos?
I have, yes.
Yeah, their pumpkin pie is really good. It's like the only one I'll eat. I have one piece, and then I'm done for the year. That's like by the end, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. So, but yeah, it's to me like there's just certain times when it feels like, okay, this slashers. Like I tend to watch like movies like The Thing in the winter.
Yeah.
I don't really watch it in the summer.
They're all mood stuff.
Yeah. Jaws comes out in regular rotation around the end of April. I'm probably on like my 10th viewing of Jaws already this year.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of Jaws.
But I had the same thing with regular movies, especially growing up in the 80s. Like summertime is when I'll watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, Back to the Future, Aliens even sometimes. Actually, I'll do that other times. But yeah, it just reminds me of my summers when I was younger and what I used to watch. So I always want to watch them at the same time.
Yeah, I actually it's not horror, but I actually last night just revisited for the first time in like forever Meatballs.
Oh, I saw that with Airplane as a double feature.
Oh my gosh! Well, I did not because I was a little young, but that was one that like I think it was like one of my best friends. Like her parents were the first VHS tapes they actually bought, and so we used to watch it like all the time. And I haven't seen it in like 20 years, and so I bought the Blu-ray for like $5 off of Amazon. And it was like everything came back. And I was like, I think honestly, because I was a kid who grew up who always wanted to go to summer camp. So that's why I like summer camp slashers and just summer camp set movies. So I went to a few, but like 2 of them were like church summer camps. And that's no fun.
I did those too.
Oh, just the worst.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I liked them. I mean, I'm not a religious person anymore, but I enjoyed because I think I like the people.
Okay.
Like I loved
ours were weird.
We had really good people.
Oh, yeah. See, they took my Walkman when we got there that day because you weren't supposed to bring secular music with you. And then we had to be up at 7 a.m. in the morning to like do prayer in the prayer tent. Yeah, mine was probably a little different.
Yeah, no, ours, we were Protestants. So it was kind of like, we were reading, me and one of the girls were reading The Exorcist like during our off time. And the counselor, who was the person who did it, she was just talking to us about it. Oh, my friend, she was terrified after she saw that movie. She would stare at her kid all night, blah, blah, blah. And she didn't say like, you shouldn't be reading that. It was very laid back, thank God.
Oh, yeah. See, ours was a little more militant. Like skirts had to be a certain length. And, you know, because when you go to summer camp, you want to wear skirts all the time,
Right.
and dress shoes. Girls couldn't wear gym shoes unless it was during like physical
It sounds
activities.
terrible.
Yeah, it was kind of terrible. So, but then we had one that like we went to in 6th grade, like as a way of like getting all the different elementary school, because like our junior high had like 4 elementary schools that would feed into it. So we would go away for like 4 days and have like that. But like the counselors were the 8th graders. So that was just never, because it was just a bunch of jerky 8th graders yelling at 6th graders. And that's never fun. So yeah, so I never got the summer camp experience I wanted.
Well, now we can talk about it.
Yeah.
In a horrible way.
Yeah.
I mean, meaning, you know, it's horrible that people die. So what is, give me your first. We'll go back and forth. What's your first?
we talked about this. I mean, I've talked about this movie like forever, but like, I think for me, like probably my essentials when it comes to like summer camp slashers are like, is the Sleepaway Camp trilogy.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Cause we talked about the first one, which is, you know, a classic, you know, because you have Felissa Rose and it's way more serious, really messed up. Feels really gross at times, especially the guy in the kitchen.
Yep. With
Felissa,
the middle school kid.
Oh,
in the middle school. Ugh, so gross.
Yeah. And you know, obviously one of the craziest twists ever for like an 80s horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
But for as much as I love the first one, and that one like defined my childhood, I really love Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. Because it was just funny because this isn't even Pamela Springsteen on here.
Well, it's funny because that's why I've never seen Sleepaway Camp 2 is I can't stand this poster.
Yeah. I mean, just go with the Scream Factory artwork. Which I'm glad I hung on to my Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 Blu-rays because now they're going for like $200 on eBay. Yeah. So I'm glad I hung on to those. But yeah, neither one of these are Pamela Springsteen, which is so funny to me because she is really great in these films. Like it's a totally different performance. So she's hilarious and really quirky and really zany, but yet you kind of buy into everything she's saying in these movies. And I don't think she gets enough credit. Like I love Felissa. Felissa and I are really good friends. I love what that role has done for her, but I want to see Pamela get just as celebrated because I think she really does something really unique in the sequels. And I love them. I just think they're really funny and weird. The second one does like all these different homages, which, you know, I'm a sucker for, you know, and 3 is just as gruesome as the second one. So I don't know. I think they're really fun.
All right. I will check out number 2 at least.
Good luck. I think they might be streaming somewhere. I can look it up really quick. But yeah, because like the Blu-rays, like I said, Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, their Blu-rays are out of print now. So I know for a while they were on Shudder.
I know. I watched Sleepaway Camp on Shudder this year because I had never seen it before.
Yeah, they've already pulled one off because I was actually looking just to throw it on for funsies before. Yeah, I mean, you could pay to rent them. Yeah,
that's fine.
2 now. So it's on Vudu for $3.99 to rent.
Oh, okay.
So, but that's crazy because years ago, and I know this because I do a lot of like streaming lists, like during Halloween and stuff, like those movies used to be everywhere. So I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Weird.
Yeah. So what about you?
Let's see. I'll choose my first. The first ones I'll talk about is oddly the opposite of summer because it's in the snowy mountains. Is it Swedish? Oh, I think it's Swedish. Horror movie called.
Are you asking me or are you asking you?
Kind of. Or it's Norwegian. I think it's Norwegian, right? I'll look it up.
Norwegian smack. Sorry, that was a little thing for you.
But this is called Cold Prey. The first one came out. I'm just looking up the country.
2006.
2006.
And it is Norwegian.
It is Norwegian. Okay. So that was Cold Prey 1. There's been 3. Cold Prey 2 is also actually very good follow-up. Cold Prey 3 you can skip. It's a prequel. I barely remember anything about it. But I really like these movies. I think they're suspenseful. I'm going to actually show a trailer since we chose some trailers that we want to kind of promote these movies. But I know Cold Prey 1 and 2 are available for streaming different places. It might even be on a couple services. Coldplay 3, impossible to find. Like we had to sneak our way into finding a copy of that just so we could finish the trilogy. Like years later, we finally watched it. I think my power went out and we finally just like I downloaded it somehow. Anyway. But anyway, so we will show a trailer for Cold Prey. The quality isn't as great as normal because it's 2006. So here is Cold Prey.
Blir det noe på den dagen, eller?
Meg og hun her, vi har lovt hverandre evig troskap. Sex med den jeg liker best.
Du, så ligger det hus nede her.
Hva er alt det her for noe?
Vi vet dere vil finne gutten deres. Er det noen som har forsvunnet? Hallo?
Oops, I stopped it too early. So that was Fritville. Did you see Fritville?
I did not, but I'll tell you what, I am a big fan of the director Rohr's, his movie The Wave.
Oh yeah.
Which as soon as I saw his name, I was like, oh, I think he directed The Wave, and he did. And that movie is fantastic. So I mean, it looks fun.
It's totally fun. It's actually scary. And again, I can't remember much about the sequel because it's been so long, but it felt like Halloween 2 where it just kind of continued, but it didn't feel like cheap. It actually expanded on things. It was just as scary as the first one. That's why I was disappointed in the third one because it was just not,
Gotcha.
It's absolutely forgettable. But yeah, check out Cold Prey if you can find it anywhere.
Every time you say Cold Prey, I just think you're saying Coldplay. I was like, I don't want to listen to Coldplay, Kevin.
Check out Coldplay.
and the third band, Coldplay 3.
Coldplay 3. Yes. All right. What's your next? You know what I'm going to say right now. One of our selections, our mutual selections, we can put them all together at some point.
Yes.
And I think you start earlier than mine.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, I will do one that isn't part of that.
Yeah.
So I'll do Stage Frights.
Oh, yes.
Which I am a huge horror musical fan. And this came out in, I want to say 2014-ish.
I think it was 14 or 15. Yeah.
I think maybe it was doing festivals 2014 and then came out it was 2014.
Was it?
Yeah, I just looked really quickly. But it is written, directed by Jerome Sable. Basically, it's a bunch of kids who go to musical theater camp, and a killer starts running amok. The reason beyond the fact that it's a horror musical, so I was already 3 stars in. But it also has Minnie Driver and Meatloaf in it. And I'm somebody who absolutely loves 2004 Phantom of the Opera.
One of the few.
Huh?
One of the few.
Oh yeah, I don't care. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And Minnie Driver's version of Carlotta is hilarious. And I love it. And of course, Meatloaf coming from Rocky Horror, him making sort of his return to a movie musical. I can't believe they got both of them to do this little tiny micro budget horror movie. But it totally rules. And we've talked about Phantom of the Paradise before, but I don't think Kevin over here, Counselor Kevin, has seen it yet.
I actually thought about it the other day. I'm like, I really need to watch this. She's going to ask about it again.
Yeah, well, here we are. Here we are. You can't just keep doing shows by yourself, Kevin. I'm going to catch up to you eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot that sort of feels like it's in line with quite a few musicals, but also Phantom of the Paradise specifically. There's some fun sort of touchstones, and it rules. And it gets confused a lot with there's an older horror movie that came out in the 80s. It's also called Stage Fright. Two very different movies. Actually, both are great. So either way you go with that name, you're in good hands, I think. So,
well, let's watch actually a trailer so everybody can kind of see what it's all about. Because
right.
I agree, I really liked this movie as well. So
yeah,
okay.
All of life's a song to sing, so sing with all your heart.
I have to get dressed. We can't do this now.
Be safe, preparing for opening night. Rehearse all day, it'll almost be perfectly right.
Welcome to Limelight.
I think about Mom a lot. Maybe this is what I'm supposed to do.
You actually want to compete with those theater geeks? Those kids aren't normal, Cam.
Hardy will be announcing this summer's Limelight production.
Hot thing of the opera!
Your mother's role.
She would be proud.
Who can tell me what Japanese tradition involves covering your face all in white?
Bukkake.
Kabuki?
There has been an accident.
Maybe there's somebody out there that really doesn't want him to put on this play. Cam, do you think this is connected to your mom?
Isn't it wrong to sing and dance when someone just died?
Camilla, where are you?
There's a killer in the theater!
fantastic. I'm gonna go watch the movie now. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Yeah. I think I was. Were you a theater kid?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Okay, I was also a theater kid, so I think any movie that sort of skewers theater kids, like I'm really into that because I get it now.
Yeah.
And even back then, there were some people that I would always like that were in like our theater groups and stuff like that in high school, and I was just like, I'd be like, just no, like I can't be that person. So
you know who that person was? Anne Hathaway.
You?
I'm sure it's Anne Hathaway.
I was like, you? And you were
No,
like,
she was always the one that was most excited about what play they're going to do this year. She knows she's going to get the lead.
and she's going to be perfect also.
Yeah, and she'll be in the corner eating her almonds and apples.
Yep. We had one in my high school she was like a girl that was like a year older than me. And it was like funny the year that she graduated, the whole dynamic changed. It was like everybody, everything changed when she graduated. So yeah, I get it. She was our Anne Hathaway. I won't say anything publicly because just in case, gotta cover myself.
True.
We
love you, Anne Hathaway.
Yes, we do actually.
We just feel like you're a theater kid. I bet she would probably be like, "You're right."
Yeah, I think she would. I think she gets it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to find my other selection for. So this is a more recent one. I think we might have even you and I might have talked about this recently because I just rewatched it. But it is a sequel, and I like the sequel better than the original.
Okay.
Strangers
yeah.
Prey Night. I didn't love Strangers. I thought it was fine. It didn't totally scare me, and it was in one of, like, at the time I was like, ugh, why is it always this depressing ending? And I had already seen that French movie, and I had seen that a while ago, and I was like, this is just the same thing. So I wasn't like super looking forward to Strangers Pray with Us. Pray at Night.
Pray at Night, Pray with Us. Ooh, that's a good one though. They should use that for the third one.
The third one. But I really, and you know, we talk about music. I really love the way they used old 80s music in this. They made like these wonderful songs so creepy. It was nice to finally see Bailey Madison not play a good girl anymore. Granted, like the Ramones t-shirt was a bit much. I was like, of course she's wearing a Ramones t-shirt. Although a kid in high school trying to be cool might do that.
Yeah.
But like that scene at the pool is fantastic.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
so
with
well staged.
Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I went to an early screening of that, and the director, Johannes Roberts, who also did 47 Meters Down and Storage 24 and stuff, he talked about he used two things that he loved when doing Strangers Pray at Night, and one was John Carpenter movies, which there's a handful of them that are actually homaged in this, and then Jim Steinman music,
yes.
who produced, you know, speaking of Meatloaf, produced a ton of Meatloaf songs, but pretty much every epic love song of the 80s. Jim probably was involved with it in some fashion.
I always say if it has like 15 to 20 words in the song title, it's probably a Jim Steinman song.
Yeah, you know, if it was Air Supply, for sure, definitely Jim. You know, it was just, you know, it's one of those, like, he was that guy, and then he like did it in the 90s with Celine Dion, and then brought Meatloaf back into it with everything. But yeah, so he was definitely that guy. So that's I agree with you. I love the original Strangers, although it's tied to a weird memory, the fact that I actually saw it with my ex when I knew I wanted to get a divorce, but we hadn't quite had that discussion yet. So it just made it even more sad for me. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, we're gonna end up dead, I think, by the time this is all over. Great. But I think it really affected me. And I also really love Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler both. So there was like a melancholy to it that just was really effective for me.
Yeah.
But Strangers Pray at Night is definitely a lot more fun. And one that I watch way more. Like, I keep the original Strangers to watch during October as part of, like, when I really want to creep myself out, because there's just such a good use of negative space in that movie, where like you're looking over here and they're doing stuff right over here, and you're like, oh Jesus, like, and then if you're sitting in your house and it's dark and you're just like looking around like, okay, I'm alone, right? But yeah, I mean, the movies are just night and day. But I like them. I love them. I wouldn't even say I like them. I love them both for very different reasons. But I do have the Strangers Pray at Night soundtrack, and it rules. Yes.
That's my childhood.
Yes.
I have them already anyway. They're just in my play. They're on my vinyl.
I actually, when I was in 4th grade, I actually danced to Tiffany for our school talent show.
I Think We're Alone Now?
No, somebody else did. I Think We're Alone Now. I saw him standing there.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah. I can't believe I did that. It's like, I sit there and think of like things that I was so confident about as a kid, and now in retrospect I'm like, why would you do that? But like in junior high, like I tried out 6th grade for the talent show, and I was going to do a dance routine to Milli Vanilli's Don't Lose My Number, because Blame It on the Rain, you couldn't really do the dance, and I'm just like, why would I do that? Like, that's horrible. Like, I should have stayed home. What was I thinking? Which explains why I'm like a total anxiety-ridden, reclusive shut-in now. So it all makes sense. So thanks, Milli Vanilli. But yeah, I like both of those movies just for very different reasons. But I get why people wouldn't probably return to the first one, especially because it's punishing. Like, it is just. It's a sad watch. It's a hard watch. It's not fun. You know, it's not, you know, chasing around somebody with an axe in the pool fun.
Right.
So
it is. It's so fun.
It is. I know we both actually had a bunch of movies from the same franchise.
We do.
So
we might have to whip through them, but let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're first. So which parts of this series did you like?
I actually went with the ones that I felt like summer camp, because I think I just kind of stuck with summer camp. So I went with Friday 2 and Friday 6.
Friday 2 and Friday 6. There's number 2. Although that does not look like Jason.
I don't like.
It looks like a Bigfoot monster.
Or it kind of looks like John Beekler. Like if somebody made him into like a monster for a movie.
I don't know. So we'll skip to her.
Yeah. So there's Ginny, who is, I think, actually the best final girl in the Friday the 13th series.
I agree with this.
Yes.
Agree with much.
Because she actually figured out the psychology of Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think all the stuff that they do in 2 really sets up the psychology of his character throughout the rest of the series too, which is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of 2. Like 4, which I know we're going to talk about. 4 was like my favorite growing up, because simply, I think 4 was actually my first Friday the 13th, and I watched it because of Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Because I was a Corey's kid. And to me, 2 and 4 go toe to toe for the best. But then there's also my second choice, which is Friday 6, Jason Lives.
So I thought it was an odd choice.
Friday 6
isn't Arnold Horshack the first?
Yeah. Well, it's directed by Tom McLaughlin, who has done sort of a lot of really fun and different projects in horror. I like the humor to it. I like the fact that there's actually kids at camp, which like how many times can you prepare a camp but actually not have kids there? I like the fact that they went back to actually Jason. It's basically Friday the 13th as a Frankenstein movie, because that's basically who Jason is now. He's Frankenstein. He's been brought back to life by lightning. Now he's something completely different than he was in the first 4 movies. And in the 5th, he was Roy. So it's like, that for me is why 6 sort of stands out. I mean, we have 6 there, right there.
Yeah.
Just because it has such a different energy to it. And like, if you watch 6 and 7 back to back, like 6 is like miles better than Jason Takes Manhattan, or actually than A New Blood. Like, I like A New Blood, but it's really tonally all over. And you can just see that the struggles that Beekler had trying to get that movie finished and through the MPAA. But I like 6. It just has a different energy to it. It's goofy. It's fun. Tommy's kind of all over the place, but you know, it's better than Tommy in 5, which is just, there's nothing there. No offense to that actor, but so yeah. So we like 2, 4. It's like, I think the even numbers, you know, for the most part in the Friday the 13th movies are pretty much like the strongest ones.
Well, I have 2 even number and 1 odd number.
Okay.
So we'll start with 4. I still like 4. I don't know why. I think
it's amazing.
It is, but you know what it is? That might be because I saw them way out of order because I was too afraid to see them. But I believe I saw part 2 with my father just on TV. And then me and a bunch of kids from high school went to see part 4 at the theater. But my parents were away that weekend. So I was by myself. So that was even worse because anything terrified me. I watched Halloween on a 13-inch black and white TV, and that terrified me. Because I had never seen it before. My brother made me watch it. But yeah, I like the cast for it. I mean, I like the Corey Feldman's in it. And I still think Crispin Glover's kind of cute in this weird, goofy way.
Oh, no, he totally is. I mean,
right?
that's why we all fell in love with
what's his name?
George McFly in Back to the Future.
I mean,
because, you know,
he's got weird, though. But but I actually, hold on, let me take this picture off. He, in the same complex I'm in, I think he was dating somebody, or was meeting with an actress friend who lived upstairs, and I was in the courtyard reading a script or something, and he came through and he's like, "Do you know where Lauren is?" And I was like, because I was like, he's so cute. And of course, part 4, we can't not talk about his infamous dance, which I'm going to play for everybody for a few moments. That was probably me.
Do you do the dance?
No, I probably do the Nightmare on Elm Street one better.
The Nightmare on Elm Street dance?
The what's his face? Mark Patton. I could probably do that.
Oh, with the dancing in his room.
It's just easier.
And he's just like, okay, yeah. I mean, that is easier.
I mean, that looks like it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that one's like, you got to protect your neck a little bit. Yeah, I actually think I think overall, like 2 and 4 have like the best casts of like characters that you actually like. You like everybody. You're sort of every single one of these characters like you want to follow, and there's something interesting about them. They're not just there to get killed. So and for a series that sort of people always say like, oh, well, it's just like a Friday the 13th movie where a bunch of people show up and they get killed. And I was like, yeah, but I think more often than not in Friday the 13th movies, they do a pretty good job with characterizations.
Yeah, they do. They do.
At least in the first few.
So you're probably gonna be like, Kevin. So the next one that I like, and I'll tell you why, is number 7.
Okay.
I liked it because I was a fan of things that were supernatural when I saw it. So as soon as I was like, she's telekinetic, I got super excited.
Oh, yeah, it's Jason versus Carrie.
Yeah. So I was like, this adds something completely new, and I'm totally down for it.
And
that's kind of like why I like it. Has who?
Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's, Terry Kaiser.
Right.
Plays her doctor.
I probably shouldn't say this. I did have a date with the final guy.
Shut up. Are you serious? Oh, wow.
We're Facebook friends. So I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. But yeah,
wow.
I mean, it was a couple years ago. Yeah, he's nice. He's very, very nice.
He was in The Hills Have Eyes Part 2. Because I just covered that. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find. I was trying to find who that was.
Oh, it's now he's gonna be like, Kevin. It's Kevin. Not. I'm terrible with anybody's names, including people I know. So.
Kevin Spurtis.
That's it, Spurtis. I was trying to remember the last name. Yep.
Is it weird when you date somebody with your own name, though?
I mean, it was one date.
Okay, but still, like.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that, but I mean, if I ended up connecting with somebody, I'm not gonna, because we have the same name. But I think I would probably like one of us would have to become Kev.
Yeah,
or something.
Kev or Kay. Yeah.
What up, Kay?
Yeah, but actually, he was in Hills Have Eyes Part 2, which I just watched for the first time last month, and I actually really liked him in that too. Yeah, he's definitely one of the stronger elements, I think, of 7. 7, it's like. I don't mind. I get 7 and 8 mixed up in my head all the time because I can't stand Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh, that's a terrible one. Although I do like the lead girl as an actress. Like she's been in some stuff after that I really like her for some reason. Jensen Daggett.
Okay, yeah. I'll say the because actually she showed up on like 90210, I think, at some point.
Probably.
And I remember liking her on that. Like the material that they gave her in Jason Takes Manhattan does her no favors. But she has a cool name because her name is Rennie. And that's like a super cool name for a girl. So.
I like her name because her real name, because it's Daggett, and that reminds me of Battlestar Galactica, which is what they called the robot dog was a Daggett.
Oh, interesting.
Okay,
so then really nerdy.
I know. So and I feel like you're just going to shame me for the next one.
I won't shame you.
The last one I like, I just think it's funny. I like
Jason.
I
love Jason X. Are you kidding?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think it's freaking hilarious.
I actually like Jason Goes to Hell too. It's a little slow and kind of sloppy, but I like body swapping. But dude, Jason in space, and you have David Cronenberg at the beginning. Like, what's there to hate?
And then there's the robot android girl.
See the robot chick. Like, come on.
It really is just, and the fact that they know it's a little goofy is what I really enjoy about it, because they're playing it serious, but not quite serious.
Yeah, written by Todd Farmer, who actually plays a part in it too, which is great.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah, he kept his clothes on though, so that was good. It's a running joke because I say that lovingly because I know, but because he's like totally naked in My Bloody Valentine 3D.
Oh, gotcha.
So, and I think he's also naked in Drive Angry.
A lot of people drive angry.
Yeah.
Which PS I really like.
That's why they're driving angry is because their butt cheeks are stuck to the seat.
Right. That movie makes me laugh. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, so we have like 10 minutes. So let's see. So we've gone through the Friday the 13th. What's your? I know you have a particularly weird one from the early. I think it's early 80s. And I pulled some great pictures. So
are we talking The Burning?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, The Burning is like is a really interesting one. It's the one I love it so much because we always get the burning question when we play horror Trivial Pursuit. And
the burning question.
And the burning question, but literally, poor Brian can never remember that Cropsey uses shears. He always forgets that for some reason. Like it's on the artwork.
Right.
I was like, it's right there. And he's like, we have the movie. And he just for some reason it hasn't clicked with him. But yeah, I'm a big fan of The Burning too, because it just has it's a really fun cast. It's always great to watch some of these movies and see like where people have kind of gone since then.
You mean the two in the middle of this one?
The two in you mean on the artwork?
No.
Oh yes, sorry. I was looking up something really quick. Yes, Jason Alexander. Yeah, it's sorry, now I'm totally blanking on her name. Holly Hunter, yes. Sorry, I also get excited because Fisher Stevens is in it, and I really liked Fisher Stevens when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
there's Jason Alexander.
Yeah, looking tight. Look at that hair, ready to play baseball over there. He's ready.
He's close. He's getting close to the guy behind him, though. I don't understand what happened there. I don't remember that part.
So, but yeah, I think Tom Savini did the effects for that one, so there's some really good kills in it. Yeah, I just, I think it's one that horror fans talk about a lot. So it's probably nothing new to any sort of devout horror fan, but maybe somebody out there hasn't heard of The Burning.
Yeah.
I
think me and my dad watched it late one night. Like he just was starting it on cable and he's like, do you want to watch this? He never asked me to watch anything. So I did. I think we did. Okay. Is this the movie where the lead, I would assume it's the lead girl, at one point, maybe it's not this movie, says, you're a very, very bad man. Like, and it was so bad that me and my dad both burst out laughing at the same time. But I swear it was The Burning, or is there another camp slasher movie or like woodsy slasher movie from the same time?
Oh, there's Madman.
Nope. It feels like, I feel like it was The Burning.
Like maybe it was The Burning? I don't know that I remember that line specifically.
It was very obvious. But now that I think about it, it might have been, my dad has passed away, so I can't ask. I have to figure it out because it was actually a weird bonding.
Friday 7, A New Blood?
Now, which by the way, as you all know, I think a lot of horror people know, has one of the most disturbing kills, which really bothered me when I saw it at the theater. Like, it upset me, like, in my stomach.
And it's not even like the full version.
Mm-mm.
You only got 2 whaps on that. If you actually watch the extended scene, it's like 10.
It's so, I think it's because we've never, like, even with Michael Myers and Jason, it's pretty much like, psh, you're done. This one was like extending her agony by zipping her up and dragging her across the ground and her not knowing what's happening. So I was completely being empathic and I was like, nope. I want to leave, but I didn't. I stayed.
It's one of the best kills in the Friday the 13th game. It's one of those. It's one of those when Jason's going to get you, and it's only a matter of time, and you've got no weapons or anything, so you just go hide out in a tent. So he gets the cool sleeping bag kill, and you get to watch something fun.
I would not like this game.
Yeah, it's intense. We used to play a lot as Jason, but it used to stress us out. So now we're like, we just always play as counselors because I'm like, I don't need to chase people down. I just want to like run around and collect stuff.
For sure.
So, just try to get me, Jason. Blah.
Well, let's see. My last one. Well, I had 2 more, but one, the only thing I'll say about it is that because I don't know if I really want to talk about it, although I am wearing my Hey Jerk Speed Kills tank top that I created myself. Thank you very much.
Very nice.
Thank you. But I kind of looked through which Halloweens I actually like, and it would be number 1, number 4, and then I go to H2O. I do that as my little trilogy because I like them. I like H2O better thematically in my head, which somebody yelled at me for, but I think it works better psychologically. I get both versions of them. I just liked this version better for some reason. It made more sense to me. But aside from Halloween, I chose this one. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I haven't seen the third one, so you might be able to tell me how the third one is. But I kind of enjoyed the Hatchet movies.
Yes.
I've seen 1, 2, but I did not see his name, Victor Crowley.
Well, there's 1, 2, 3, and then there's Victor Crowley. Victor Crowley's 4.
Oh, right. So I don't think I've even seen 3.
3. I'm trying to remember the guy who directed. I'm pulling up the info really quick because that actually has a pretty fun supporting cast. I'm pretty sure Felissa Rose is in that, as well as Zach Galligan and Derek Mears and Sean Whalen.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people in that one.
Yeah.
And the comedic actress, the short one, who gets her in the middle of the head. Her head splits open. Maybe that's in number 1. Yeah, number 1. She's a character actress. Short.
Are you talking about number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking number 3 because you told me to fill you in. Anyway, that one was directed by B.J. McDonald.
Okay.
Who had been?
That's the one with Zach Galligan.
Yeah, and he'd been Adam Green's DP for a few years.
Okay.
So, and they brought back Perry Shen, but he plays like his twin brother, which was kind of funny.
I'll have to do a quadrilogy night. Is the Crowley one any good?
I never saw it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That surprises me, Allison.
Allison.
I'm a fan of Allison.
I mean, literally, my name is right there. But
you remind me also of somebody else I know who's a writer. That's why. But anyway.
Is that your story, Kevin?
It's true though.
That's fine.
But you both have glasses. You both have the same hair.
Do we both have the same laptop eyes right there?
No. Nope. That is not true.
I don't know what to do about that. I'll just look up at the ceiling the whole time. It'll be fine. Funny. So yeah. I never finished out the Hatchet trilogy. I liked 1 a lot. 2, I didn't really like that much, and it turned into a weird thing because I was friends with Adam Green at the time, so that was a little strange. But I really liked 3 because I like the humor that came with it. And I thought Zach Galligan was really good, and I really like Danielle Harris. In these movies. I thought it was funny how Tom Holland plays her uncle in part 2. I don't know. There's just too many people that I knew in that movie that I was just like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know. It just took me out of it. But yeah, I've heard really good things about Victor Crowley. It was funny because when they did the surprise screening for it in, it would have been 2017, I got invited to what was supposed to be the 10th anniversary screening of Hatchet. And I actually had another precedent thing going that night. And I was like, oh, no big deal. It's just Hatchet 10 years later. I own it on various formats. It's cool. I was like, I'll just go do this other thing because it's like I have a junket, the next day. And then I'm like checking in after my screening or whatever. And I was like, wait, there's a new Victor Crowley movie? I was like, that's crazy. And I don't know. I don't know if it just hadn't been streaming anywhere for a while. I just never had a chance to catch up with it. So,
no.
But yeah, probably maybe this Halloween I'll make some time for it because I'm trying to watch some more new stuff this year. I say that every year.
Yeah, but that's a good segue to new stuff.
Yes.
We're at the end of our hour, but let's look at something that just came out today.
Yes.
By our lovely James Wan.
I'm having visions.
The body of Dr. Florence Weaver was found brutally murdered in her home this morning.
Did you know her?
No, but I saw her die. I'm seeing things. I'm seeing murders as they're happening.
Hello?
He says his name is Gabriel. I think he's someone from my past.
Happy birthday.
Whatever happened to you before you joined our family hurt you in a way that I can't even imagine.
Stop saying that.
Maddie, who are you talking to?
Gabriel.
Is he your imaginary friend? Imaginary?
He's the devil.
Whatever it was, it's back. He killed again. He's getting closer.
He wants to talk to you.
Mom, what do you know? He's coming for me. Who are you, Gabriel?
I like how like sternly we're both staring at the computer screen. We're like, yeah, we're in.
I mean,
Yeah,
it looks good. It looks, James Wan-y.
Yeah, it's interesting too because like everything prior to this sort of felt very jolly, in terms of like the poster that they use and sort of the font and stuff.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't feel as Giallo-esque. So it's interesting. So I've had to sort of re-temper my expectations because I was like, oh man, James Wan's bringing back the Giallo movies. Yes. And I don't think that's necessarily the case here, but I'm in. Like I don't think anybody does in-camera tricks as well as he does in horror. Like he's just so freaking good at it, and it just makes me mad. Like how he can it's like a sleight of hand, and he's so good at it. And there's definitely more digital effects in this movie, but like just some of the ways that he's able to sort of play around with like shadows and stuff, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it would probably spawn like 3 franchises. So
probably. And wasn't Annabelle Wallace in Annabelle?
I don't even really remember the first Annabelle because I did not care for it.
No, I didn't care for it either. But
I kind of pushed it out.
I believe she was, because I remember thinking like, oh, it's funny, her name's Annabelle. But she has dark hair in this one. But they're both in the same. Well, I guess they're not in the Conjuring universe, so that's fine. Still in the James Wan.
That's all. Like
universe.
The doll's going to show up somewhere, or the Billy puppet's going to show up somewhere.
Something's going to happen. Yeah,
something's going to happen. So yeah, but I'm in. I'm totally in.
Yeah,
it's nice to see James doing like a pure horror movie again before he goes off for Aquaman 2. So
yeah.
It's nice of him to do something for us horror fans before he's off and doing big superhero things again.
No more superheroes. I'm done.
Oh wow.
Well, I wasn't a fan of Aquaman, but at all.
I saw it at the drive-in, and I think because I just was like, whatever, like just give me a movie for 2 hours, and it's Jason Momoa. Like,
you mean 3 hours?
It was 3 hours of Jason Momoa. I did not care.
I can go on the internet and pull up pictures of Jason Momoa if I need to.
Yeah, if I need to for work purposes.
But yeah, I didn't like that movie at all. I wanted to, but.
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like I don't really have any expectations going to any superhero movie. Like I just was like, okay, cool, this one's going to be different, underwater weirdness. Patrick Wilson being like this weird archetype villain, whatever. There's an octopus playing a drum. Who cares? Like I'm just taking a ride, man. So yeah, I mean, it's I've seen better, I've seen worse. It was fine. Yeah. I think I saw it. No. Oh. I was thinking of when we saw Batman versus Superman. We saw that with Independence Day Resurgence. That was a rough night. Yeah, so it was a rough night at the drive-in, which I think made me appreciate Batman versus Superman more because Independence Day Resurgence was.
I didn't even see it.
Vivica A. Fox is like a surgeon. Like,
who was even the lead?
Huh?
Who was the lead?
I don't even remember. I don't know I don't think it was Michael B. Jordan. Like, I literally don't remember much about it. I think it has one of the Hemsworths in it. I remember Bill Pullman was all goofy in it. Like, he was having like brain sinkingness with like the aliens. I'm looking here.
I forgot it even happened. Liam Hemsworth.
Oh, it's Jesse T. Usher plays the son of Will Smith's character, or he was the kid. He was Vivica A. Fox's kid in that. Mika Monroe was in it as well. Judd Hirsch was back in it. Brett Spiner was in it. Vivica A. Fox is a surgeon now, which was interesting. I mean, you know,
McKenna Grace is in it. All these young kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was something, but you know, anyway, I figure I don't know, like there's like when I watch movies for like things that I actually have to review, like I put on like a different mindset. But when I'm just going to the drive-in just to like kick back and watch a few movies, like it's gonna take a lot for me to watch a movie that I actually am gonna physically just all out hate. Because I mean, if I'm amused for 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, fine, that was fine. So, but anyways, Octopus is playing drums. I'm in. So, you know, I'll see more Aquaman. I just don't like that I just don't like that Amber Heard is still involved, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, that's another story. But I agree.
Yes. Anyway.
All right. Well, that I guess would bring an end to our slasher fest.
It does.
This week. You can join us next week for I don't know what. We don't know what we're going to talk about yet.
There's going to be horror, and it's going to be horrifically horrifying.
Yeah. Spooky, scary stuff.
Yep.
Why do I have look like a scar on my neck? I'm like,
oh.
Okay.
Oh, you scar neck.
Scar neck.
Not Scarface, scar neck.
Scar neck.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll be back, right?
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching, and go watch some horror.
And comment below if you want to chit chat. I mean, that's what the kids do these days, right?
That's what the kids do. Join us on the TikToks, kid.
Click here and here and here. All right. All right. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.